Alright, welcome back. Thank you very much for joining me today. So today I figured we would read for a little while and then wander around and explore and try to find more stuff. Many more of the things. Moby Dick, or The Whale, by Herman Melville. Chapter 1, Loomings. Call me Ishmael. Some years ago, never mind how long precisely, having little or no money in my purse, and nothing particular to interest me on shore, I thought I would sail about a little and see the watery part of the world. It is a way I have of driving off the spleen and regulating the circulation. Whenever I find myself growing grim about the mouth, whenever it is a damp, drizzly November in my soul, whenever I find myself involuntarily pausing before coffin warehouses and bringing up the rear of every funeral I meet, and especially whenever my hypos get such an upper hand of me, that it requires a strong moral principle to prevent me from deliberately stepping into the street and methodically knocking people's hats off, then I account it high time to get to sea as soon as I can. This is my substitute for pistol and ball. With a philosophical flourish, Cato throws himself upon his sword. I quietly take to the ship. There is nothing surprising in this. If they but knew it, almost all men in their degree, sometime or other, cherish very nearly the same feelings towards the ocean with me. There now is your insular city of the Manhattoes, belted round by wharves as Indian Isles by coral reefs. Commerce surrounds it with her surf. Right and left, the streets take you waterward. Its extreme downtown is the Battery, where that noble mole is washed by waves and cooled by breezes, which a few hours previous were out of sight of land. Look at the crowds of water gazers there. Circumambulate the city of a dreamy Sabbath afternoon. Go from Corlier's, hook to Coenties Slip, and from thence by Whitehall northward. What do you see? Posted like silent sentinels all around the town stand thousands upon thousands of mortal men fixed in ocean reveries. Some leaning against the spiles, some seated upon the pierheads, some looking over the bulwarks of ships from China, some high aloft in the rigging, as if striving to get a still better seaward peep. But these are all landsmen, of weekdays pent up in lath and plaster, tied to counters, nailed to benches, clinched to desks. How then is this? Are the green fields gone? What do they here? But look! Here come more crowds, pacing straight for the water, and seemingly bound for a dive. Strange. Nothing will content them but the extremest limit of the land. Loitering under the shady lee of yonder warehouses will not suffice. No, they must get just as nigh the water as they possibly can without falling in. And there they stand, miles of them, leagues. Inlanders all, they come from lanes and alleys, streets and avenues, north, east, south, and west. Yet here they all unite. Tell me, does the magnetic virtue of the needles of the compasses of all those ships attract them thither? Once more, say you are in the country, in some highland of lakes. Take almost any path you please, and 10 to 1 it carries you down in a dale, and leaves you there by a pool in the stream. There is magic in it. Let the most absent-minded of men be plunged in his deepest reveries. Stand that man on his legs, set his feet a-going, and he will infallibly lead you to water, if water there be in all that region. Should you ever be athirst in the great American desert, try this experiment. If your caravan happen to be supplied with a metaphysical professor, Yes, as everyone knows, meditation and water are wedded forever. But here is an artist. He desires to paint you the dreamiest, shadiest, quietest, most enchanting bit of romantic landscape in all the valley of the Saco. What is the chief element he employs? There stands his trees, each with a hollow trunk, as if a hermit and a crucifix were within. And here sleeps his meadow, and there sleep his cattle, and up from yonder cottage does a sleepy smoke. Goes a sleepy smoke. Deep into distant woodlands winds a mazy way, reaching to overlapping spurs of mountains bathed in their hill-sided blue. But though the picture lies thus tranced, and though this pine tree shakes down its sighs like leaves upon the shepherd's head, yet all were vain, unless the shepherd's eye were fixed upon the magic stream before him. Go visit the prairies in June, when for scores on scores of miles you wade knee-deep among tiger lilies. What is the one chanting wanting? What is the one charm wanting? Water. There is not a drop of water there. Were Niagara but a cataract of sand, would you travel your 1,000 miles to see it? Why did the poor poet of Tennessee, upon suddenly receiving 2 handfuls of silver, deliberate whether to buy him a coat, which he sadly needed, or invest his money in a pedestrian trip to Rockaway Beach? Why is almost every robust, healthy boy with a robust, healthy soul in him, at some time or other, crazy to go at sea? Why, upon your first voyage as a passenger, did you yourself feel such a mystical vibration when first told that you and your ship were now out of sight of land? Why did the old Persians hold the sea holy? Why did the Greeks give it a separate deity, an own brother of Jove? Surely all this is not without meaning, and still deeper the meaning of that story of Narcissus, who, because he could not grasp the tormenting mild image he saw in the fountain, plunged into it and was drowned. But that same image we ourselves see in all rivers and oceans. It is the image of the ungraspable phantom of life, and this is the key to it all. Now when I say that I am in the habit of going to sea whenever I begin to grow hazy about the eyes and begin to be overconscious of my lungs, I do not mean to have it inferred that I ever go to sea as a passenger. For to go as a passenger, you must needs have a purse, and a purse is but a rag unless you have something in it. Besides, passengers get seasick, grow quarrelsome, don't sleep of nights, do not enjoy themselves much as a general thing. No, I never go as a passenger. Nor, though I am something of a salt, do I ever go to sea as a commodore, or a captain, or a cook. I abandon the glory and distinction of such offices to those who like them. For my part, I abominate all honorable, respectable toils, trials, and tribulations of every kind whatsoever. It is quite as much as I can do to take care of myself without taking care of ships, barks, brigs, schooners, and whatnot. And as for going as cook, though I confess there is considerable glory in that, a cook being a sort of officer on shipboard, yet somehow I never fancied broiling fowls. Though once broiled, judiciously buttered, and judgmatically salted and peppered, there is no one who will speak more respectfully, not to say reverentially, of a broiled fowl than I will. It is out of the idolatrous dotings of old Egyptians upon broiled ibis, and roasted river horse, that you see the mummies of those creatures in their huge bakehouses, the pyramids. No, when I go to sea, I go as a simple sailor, right before the mast, plumb down into the forecastle, aloft there to the royal masthead. True, they rather order me about some and make me jump from spar to spar like a grasshopper in a May meadow. And at first, this sort of thing is unpleasant enough. It touches one's sense of honor, particularly if you come of an old established family in the land. The Van Rensselaers, or Randolphs, or Hardecanutes. And more than all, if just previous to putting your hand into a tar pot, you have been lording it as a country schoolmaster, making the tallest boys stand in awe of you. The transition is a keen one, I assure you, from a schoolmaster to a sailor, and requires a strong decoction of Seneca and the Stoics to enable you to grin and bear it. But even if this wears off in time, even this wears off in time, what of it if some old hunks of a sea captain orders me to get a broom and sweep the decks? What does the indignity amount to, weighed, in the scales of New Testament? Do you think the Archangel Gabriel thinks anything the less of me, because I promptly and respectfully obey that old hunks in that particular instance? Who ain't a slave? Tell me that. Well then, however the old sea captains may order me about, however they may thump and punch me about, I have the satisfaction of knowing that it is all right, that everybody else is one way or other served in much the same way, either in a physical or metaphysical point of view, that is. And so the universal thump is passed round, and all the hands should rub each other's shoulder blades and be content. Again, I always go to sea as a sailor, because they make a point of paying me for my trouble, whereas they never pay passengers a single penny that I ever heard of. On the contrary, passengers themselves must pay, and there is all the difference in the world between paying and being paid. The act of paying is perhaps the most uncomfortable infliction that the two orchard thieves entailed upon us. But being paid? What will compare with it? The urbane activity with which a man receives money is really marvelous, considering that we so earnestly believe money to be the root of all earthly ills, and that on no account can a moneyed man enter heaven. Ah, how cheerfully we consign ourselves to perdition. Finally, I always go to sea as a sailor, because of the wholesome exercise and pure air of this forecastle deck. For as in this world, headwinds are far more prevalent than winds from astern, that is, if you never violate the Pythagorean maxim. And so, for the most part, the Commodore on the quarterdeck gets his atmosphere at second hand from the sailors on the forecastle. He thinks he breathes it first, but not so. In much the same way do the commonalty lead their leaders in many other things, at the same time that the leaders little suspect it. But wherefore it was that after having repeatedly smelt the sea as a merchant sailor, I should now take it into my head to go on a whaling voyage. This the invisible police officer of the fates, who has the constant surveillance of me and secretly dogs me, and influences me in some unaccountable way, he can better answer that than anyone else. And doubtless my going on this whaling voyage formed part of the grand program of Providence that was drawn up a long time ago. It came in as a sort of brief interlude in solo between more extensive performances. I take it that this part of the bill must have run something like this. Grand contested election for the presidency of the United States. Whaling voyage by one Ishmael. Bloody battle in Afghanistan. though I cannot tell why it was exactly that those strange managers, the Fates, put me down for this shabby part of a whaling voyage, when others were set down for magnificent parts in high tragedies, and short and easy parts in genteel comedies, and jolly parts in farces, though I cannot tell why this was exactly. Yet now that I recall all of the circumstances, I think I can see a little into the springs and motives which, being cunningly presented to me under various disguises, induced me to set about performing the part I did, besides cajoling me into the delusion that it was a choice resulting from my own unbiased free will and discriminating judgment. Chief among these motives was the overwhelming idea of the great whale himself. Such a portentous and mysterious monster roused all my curiosity. Then the wild and distant seas he rolled his island bulk. The undeliverable, nameless perils of the whale. These, with all the attending marvels of 1,000 Patagonian sights and sounds, helped to sway me to my wish. With other men, perhaps such things would not have been inducements. But as for me, I am tormented with an everlasting itch for the things remote. I love to sail forbidden seas and land on barbarous coasts. Not ignoring what is good, I am quick to perceive a horror and could still be social with it. Would they let me? Since it is but well to be on friendly terms with all the inmates of the place one lodges in. By reason of these things, then, the whaling voyage was welcome. The great floodgates of the wonder-world swung open, and in the wild conceits that swayed me to my purpose, 2 and 2 there floated into my inmost soul. Endless processions of the whale, and mid most of them all, one grand hooded phantom, like a snow hill in the air. Then we will pick up Chapter 2, The Carpet Bag, at a later date. How the time flies. I should be reading more. I think about 20 minutes of reading a day is definitely good for you. So I guess now we're going to head off and explore the caverns and see what we might be able to find. Hopefully we can get the rest of the parts of our instrument and be able to jam out a little bit. That'd be nice. I might click this, let him walk there, and then I'll see you guys when we get there and choose another path. I'm gonna get some coffee. And yeah. Alright. I think we took the left side door the last time. We found some more paper up here. There's stained glass. I wonder who carved this place. Ooh, a piece of paper. And a book. I wonder what that one's all about. So it's looped us around. Well, let's just go directly right. Another piece of coal. God, I have no idea where we are. I'm very lost. I'm not sure. I'm gonna look at the picture that I have, just so we don't waste an ignorant amount of time. Lost. A dead end. Well, that's quite unfortunate. What a meaningless ascent. I now have one disappointment. I mean, if we only have one disappointment, that's not too bad, I would argue. That's right. This jump is too exciting for my tastes. I'd better wait for that stalactite to come down first. I guess that could happen in a few days. Well, that's not too bad then. I don't remember exactly how long it was supposed to take. We've already killed 5 days? 4.5 days? So, I mean, we still have a couple more weeks to wait for moss to grow. Could also watch that happen. Yeah, in a few more days, we should be able to climb this onwards to, honestly, I'm not entirely sure. I think we might have a friend up there. Yeah, the Lost doesn't... It's a little finicky with some of these forks in the path. We have our 6th lump of coal. We now have enough coal to make a nice fire again. Maybe even make some artwork. I think some of the instrument parts are locked behind the some of those things needing to happen, so we may just have to wait some time for the other instrument parts. To be totally honest, I don't entirely remember. I think I'm pretty sure I put the instrument together one time, but that was quite a while ago. Just look at all the treasure. What was in this door? Right, I remember this area. Kind of. Oh, there's a little bit of pigment stuff here. Piece of chalk. I will be able to paint the pale moon that will remain forever enshrouded. Oh yeah, I bet that'll look a lot nicer. I wonder how many of the pigments we can mix together. I remember getting the pickaxe at some point in time, or the mattock. I feel like I spent time chipping one of these out, and I don't remember what I did with it. But I do remember making the house bigger and adding like a full downstairs that I wasn't sure what to do with. Still not entirely sure what I would do with it. But I'm more excited to find out than I expected to be. A lump of coal. A fallen brother is returning home. So I think if I'm starting to understand how this map works, we got 2 lumps of coal. Then if we go through this door, we'll go up, and we could go up again. I don't know exactly. Let's go left. We'll just keep going left and we'll explore this way. We don't want to go down because that takes us towards the all the nutty library area and stuff. We don't want to go there. The halls of eternity. We'll come back and check on that much later. Or geez, it could be down this way. I don't. No, this doesn't look familiar at all. That's vaguely ominous. We got a part of our instrument down here. Do we want to enter this door? For some reason, I don't feel like that's comfortable. We just need one more part to the instrument to make some music. I think this did take us down towards the Halls of Eternity. So yeah, confirmed, don't want to go through that door. Let's head upwards and see what is upwards here. Actually, I think it does go to where we would want to go after, so let's not. Yet. We have 10 coal now. We can do so much artwork, we can have so many fires. We can have 2 whole fires. This door should lead to the library, but it is blocked from the other side. I will add this event to my list of disappointments. I now have 2 disappointments. This is starting to become pretty real. 11 coal, yeah? Is that another coal brethren? Does that make up for the disappointment? Maybe a pretty picture will make up for our immeasurable disappointment when we do get back home. Maybe there's some way we can like loop around then. Or maybe we can find like some TNT or something. It's dynamite. Blow some shit up. There's moss growing here, but it's not ready to be harvested yet. Cool. So we can, right. Splish splash. I was taking a bath. So there's a book or somewhere that we could learn about making moss carpeting. You collect the moss and do some nice, fun, interesting things with it. Eventually. Enter door. Let's see if there's another door first. There's tons of moss. Whenever it is done growing, we'll be able to collect quite a bit. The water is not deep enough to drown myself in. That's good. Are you upset by that? Do you need to talk about this? What exactly was the premise of that thought again? Alright, let's see where this door leads us. Somewhere that looks a bit sketchy. But very full of moss. Well, that's quite a conundrum. This moss is not ready to be harvested yet. This little water droplet is doing a lot of hard work. What a failure. I think I could make it if I wait for the friendly droplet to fill up the pit. This might take a month. Do you think we're gonna be able to, like, really watch this water droplet fill this up over time? And as it stands, I could stand here and wait and be pretty safe there. Let's remember this spot. Remember our friendly little water droplet. Alright, let's see what's up the other way then. We have achieved 15 coal. We are absolutely lush. We're practically a coal miner. 16. Can't stop me. We're playing Minecraft now. I think we want to go up a little bit further and explore over that way. These stairs should lead to the caves beyond the Earthen Palace. I don't think the king would like it if I ventured out there. He doesn't want us to leave, not to the surface, and I don't know the ramifications to any of that. These are some fine stairs. So what I've taken from this is pretty inconclusive, but that's the final. This is the exit of the palace. I'm allowed to explore other parts of the kingdom, but I should be careful. That's our final part to the instruments. My understanding is this will take like 2 hours to open the door. And people recommend getting all of the answers from the face first. I don't know why we would want to leave, but I'm more than a little curious to see. I've seen the ending a couple of times now for waking the king up after waiting a year. in the most literal sense ever. A part of my instrument. I've gathered them all. Now we can make music back at our home. So let's go back home. Let's check out our book and maybe play a little bit of music, and we'll make a new picture with our new colors. Well, color singular. We were not so lucky to get multiple colors. I believe there's a yellow and blue. It did show me all of the colors the last time I was looking at it. I just didn't pay quite enough attention to have it fully process that it was kind of giving me a cheat sheet on how many pigments there are to collect. I'll have to look closer at that this time. Home sweet home. And our fire is still burning. Not quite as bright and strong as before, but it's still burning bright. And we have another lump of coal waiting for us. I think this calls for some music. Another symphony for the ages. Alright, so you can... It's like 4. Oh, don't click that eye. Interesting. Alright, then you double click to put it down. I'm sure someone that really knows what they're doing and stuff like that could actually make some respectable music. So yeah, there's yellow and blue. We have 5 colors total. So, ooh. Have a mushroom. A weeping moon. Moon just looks sad. This feels like one of the New Vegas when you get the little picture test you gotta do there. Too embarrassed to say. Well, let's make a mushroom. Mushroom, mushroom, badger, 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 mushroom, mushroom. Time goes by faster in the company of great art. This one deserves a special place on my wall. It sure do. Maybe... It's beautiful. Absolutely stunning. Once you learn to keep your mind occupied, time starts to fly. Nothing better than resting the weary body on a comforting armchair. Metamorphoses. It's 49 pages. No, this is a little too Old Testament as well. Oh my gosh. Oh, it does, it bookmarks your page that you left off on. Oh, that's awesome. I love that. That's phenomenal. Yeah, thank you so very much for your time today. I really appreciate it. I hope that I see you in the next one. Take care, everybody.